Hi there my loves, and welcome back to my channel and to another installment of 3 looks 1 palette. And today we're going to be playing with the much anticipated Huda Beauty Retrograde palette. I've had this for a little while now. I purchased it off one day only. It was on sale and I think I paid about 1,000 rand for it. What I'll do is I'll link a couple places that you are able to purchase this palette from South African sites, but it is so beautiful. I've been wanting to do one of these episodes for a while now, and I really had fun creating these 3 looks for you. So if you guys would like to see these 3 beautiful looks that I created, you know what to do. Just keep on watching. So first off, I'm going to be priming my eyelid, and I'm using the new Wonder Cloud All Day Wear Soft Shadow from Rimmel. Now these have like a really moussey consistency and they're available in various shades. Quite a few neutrals, and then it's also in like a beautiful mint and like very light, I don't want to say lilac, it's more of like a muted purple, but they are super light. They have a super light consistency as well, so they're not extremely opaque, so I definitely think they work better under eyeshadows than they do by themselves. And you can see it kind of like dissipates to nothing, but there is still it has still created like a very light veil of color so that everything goes on beautifully. So first off, I'm going to be creating this kind of wearable, like matte purpley vibe, I want to say, with like a beautiful purple inner corner. You can leave the purple inner corner out if it's a little bit too crazy for you. So with these particular shades, at first glance you really think that you're getting something that's a little bit diverse, that you may be able to create a super wearable neutral look, but upon actually dipping into the shades and using them, it's a little bit different. So this shade over here, which is called Crash, now it looks quite muted, but it actually comes off like this pink shade, which is very weird. But anyway, so I'm going to be taking that shade through my crease and just buffing that out. So I've just taken that shade through the crease and kind of buffed it outwards, giving me a little bit more of like a cat eye look. And now I'm just going to take a small detail brush and I'm dipping into the shade Vortex. Again, this looks like it could be more of like a dark brown, but it actually comes off as more of like a purpley shade. So I'm just going to be running that along the outer corner and also winging it out slightly. Going back into Crash and just buffing out those edges. Now I'm just taking that same brush that I used to apply the eye primer, and I'm just going back into that negative space just to kind of almost clean up around it, because I'm going to be placing a matte shade over top. I'm dipping into Momentum, which is a beautiful cream shade, and I'm just going to pack that in that negative space. Also bringing that quite into the inner corner as well and buffing it out so that it really brightens that area. There's a beautiful peachy undertone as well, which I think complements the purpley tones. Now I'm taking that dark shade and placing it along my lower lash line, just to about there. So I'm going to be placing that shimmery purple on the inner corner, and then taking Crash and just buffing along that line. And just taking that fine detail brush again and dipping into Ultraviolet, which is the most beautiful iridescent purple shade, and just placing that on the inner corner. So pretty, it's beautiful, I love it. And that is look 1 completed. I really like this. It's a little bit more wearable, I think, what you can actually create with the palette. I mean, there are some other shades like nice peachier tones. There aren't really any browns in the palette that you can play with to create something more neutral, but I think this is pretty wearable. As I said, you can leave the purple inner corner out if it's a little bit too bright for you, and then it's just like a nice muted plum like a cut crease type vibe. I also think this would look beautiful on green eyes, especially with the plum tones. I do have a little bit of green in my eyes, so I really feel like this kind of like activates that green and really makes them pop. But yeah, I really like this look. Let's move on to the next. Okay, next up we are going to be creating this absolutely delicious pink halo eye. Oh, I mean, can you say divine? So beautiful. So again, first up we're just going to be going in with the Rimmel Wonder Cloud as a base, just to help with the longevity of the makeup, even though I'm removing it immediately afterwards. So we really do have a nice selection of beautiful like pink shades in here. So first off, I'm going to be dipping into Off Balance, which is just, I would say, the most perfect rose pink. I mean, look at that. Oh, that's just so beautiful. So I'm going to be focusing this on my inner and outer corner so that we can achieve that beautiful halo finish. And I'm just going to use that same brush, and I'm dipping into Libra, which looks like quite a light pink, but it's actually got quite a vibrant payoff, as you can see. And I'm just kind of diffusing those edges, taking it a little bit up into my brow, just kind of giving it a little bit of an editorial look as well. And I'm taking Off Balance and doing the same on my lower lash line, also on the outer corner and the inner corner. Leaving a gap in the center like that. I'm going to be taking that fine little detail brush and dipping into Hot Mess, which is this beautiful, it looks a lot deeper in the pan, but it comes off as this beautiful kind of like cranberry shade. As you can see, it's very vibrant. I love it. And I'm just focusing that on my actual lid, on the inner and outer corner, and then I'm just going to take my brush from before and just diffuse that. Okay, next, the exciting part, we're going to be dipping our finger into Supernova. Now this kind of looks a bit copper in the pan, but it has the most divine rose gold pinky shimmer. As you can see there, it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm taking that on my finger, because your finger always gives you the best color payoff when it comes to shimmers like these, and I'm literally just swiping it in that negative space. You can take it up to the brow as well. I mean, how, oh, it's just so beautiful. Same brush and place that shimmer on the lower lash line, just because my finger's a little bit too big to get there. Placing that there, so everything looks kind of like a beautiful spotlight over the eye. And lastly, I'm just dipping into Cosmic, which is also a beautiful like silvery shimmer pink, and I'm just going to focus that literally in the center of my lid right there, just because that also really highlights and spotlights the center of the lid, giving you that almost like wet look. And then I'm also going to take a little bit of that into the inner corner just to highlight there. And you're pretty much done. Okay, so that is the second look completed, just the most beautiful halo eye. I really love a halo eye just because I feel that it complements any eye shape. It looks beautiful on a round eye. If you've got a beautiful almond shape eye as well, it also just, I don't know, there's just something about it. It's something about highlighting the center of the lid that just makes the eyes pop beautifully. I also think this look would be incredible with a lash, but I'm not going to faff with lashes for these videos because the glue just gets everywhere. But I also want to show you guys, with these particular colors, you can take this look even more editorial. So I'm just taking a powder brush and I'm dipping into Off Balance. I may also dip into Libra as well. And you can literally bring that as a blush, nice and high up to meet the eye. And it also just marries everything together beautifully. Makes everything look super cohesive. You can even take this higher up into the temples as well, but I'm not going to do that because we've got one more look left. But this is just so beautiful. And you can even take a little bit of Cosmic and just dust that over as a highlighter. And if you can see that, let me look how divine. It's just super beautiful. I feel like this is a little bit more editorial as well, but I would wear this out. I love it. Yeah, so that's the second look completed. Let us move on to the final look. Okay, last and certainly not least, I couldn't not dip into the most delicious blues in this palette. Oh, so gorgeous. So, of course, let us prime the lid first. So first up, I'm going to be dipping into Haze, which is this beautiful turquoisey matte blue. And I'm going to be focusing that on my inner corner because I want... Oh, okay, excuse me, sir. Did not want you there. I want my inner corner to remain matte because the rest of the blue shades are all shimmer. So let us do something different and create a matte inner corner. I'm taking that quite deep into my inner corner and then also just in the corner on my lower lash line as well. Okay, then next up I'm dipping into Nebula, which is just this beautiful glitter, pressed glitter pigment. I'm taking it on the other side of that brush. You can use your finger for this as well, you'll get a little bit more color payoff. And I'm just going to be patting that in the center of the lid. It does have a little bit of a color to it, as you can see. It's got like a beautiful blue kind of shift. But I think if you're light enough with it as well, you just kind of get that beautiful glitter. But it's just, oh, it's such a delicious shade. It's very like Ice Queen vibes. And then I'm taking that small detailed brush and dipping into Mercury. Now this is also a shimmer shadow, but it does have quite a beautiful dark blue pigment to it with a beautiful like greeny blue shift. So I'm just taking that a little bit into the crease and then also just buffing that out into a bit of a cat eye. And then I'm going back into that Haze shade and I'm just going to buff right over, just below the brow, just to kind of marry all of those shades together. Beautiful, so wearable. Now there's some beautiful gold shimmers in this palette as well, but I'm going to be dipping into Frazzled because I would have actually just left this blue look as is, but Frazzled has... it's like a gold coppery shade, but it's got a green shimmer running through it, which is very, very subtle, but it's definitely there. Once it's like swiped all over the lid, it's absolutely beautiful. So copper and blue will forever live happily together. They just complement each other so beautifully. So I'm just running this shimmer along my lower lash line and then winging that along the bottom where I brought the blue. I'm not too sure if you'll be able to see the slight green shift. Might not pick it up on camera, but she is definitely there, and that also complements the blue even more so. Copper, blue, green. You love it. Absolutely love it. I love this look so much. So I've got about 500 layers of mascara on, but I'm very, very happy with this look. I've been wanting to dip into these blues for a little while. I have dipped into a couple of the shimmers, used them as toppers, but I haven't done like a full blue look using these shadows, and I'm so obsessed. I think it's just beautiful. I think the combination of this blue with the copper on blue eyes, oh, absolutely divine, but even on hazel eyes as well, because it's just really going to make your eyes look super yellow. I am obsessed. The shimmers are beautiful, the mattes are super pigmented and buttery and beautiful and opaque. You know, you really can't go wrong with this palette. And that is it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section down below which look was your favorite. I really think this palette is a good option for those that are looking to experiment with a little bit of color. The shimmers are absolutely beautiful. The mattes are super buttery, super pigmented. You really can't go wrong. They blend beautifully. And I feel like there's a shade for every skin tone within the palette as well. So I think it would make a good addition to a makeup artist's kit too. I've actually used it a couple times in my kit, even on brides, because the shimmers are just absolutely beautiful and just really like take your look from zero to hero. Let me know what palette you guys would like to see in the next episode of 3 Looks 1 Palette. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!